Hey everyone, my name is Megan and I am doing my presentation on terrain park management. So let's get an introduction going here. As all of you probably know, terrain parks are a way to participate in freestyle skiing or snowboarding. They contain jumps, rails, boxes, and half pipes for all levels. And finally, they are managed by people who love the sport and love to be creative. So a little bit of background and history. Once snowboarding came into existence and became more popular, that is when terrain parks and freestyle riding really grew. So it began in the 1980s as the snowboard population began to increase. So once the freestyle population began to grow, the freestyle sport of skiing and snowboarding began to grow, and jumps became a skier and snowboarder favorite, therefore increasing overall freestyle riding. Since jumps became more popular and people will do it, ski resorts use this as a way to increase business. Freestyle riding soon became a simple supply and demand function for ski resorts. So after ski resorts finally welcomed jumping and freestyle skiing and snowboarding, they added terrain parks, which is when more advanced freestyle riding came into play, such as rails and boxes and features people could slide on and jump on and do more tricks on. Now let's get into managing terrain parks. Managing terrain parks comes with many responsibilities, but is also a good time for those involved. First and foremost, terrain park managers have to manage their employees. They are required to find employees that are qualified to build terrain park setups and able to test them, as testing is one of the biggest parts of being involved in terrain park employment. Terrain park features are a huge part of terrain park management. As stated earlier, terrain parks contain jumps, boxes, rails, and half pipes. The managers are in charge of making sure all equipment is ready for building during the winter and summer. Terrain parks make their own features. This being said, they weld metal together so that they are ready to be used. That takes a lot of time during the off-season. As a manager, it is important to remember that there are standards and regulations when setting up these features. An example of this is managers and employees have the ability to set up jumps in a way so that the landing of the jump cushions a person if they happen to fall. There is, a matter of fact, a scientific equation that park managers should follow when setting up big features such as big jumps. As for rails and boxes, managers are required to ensure these features maintain a given height and length from the ground, the takeoff, and the rail itself. This is also dependent on the size of the feature, which managers need to take under consideration. The setup of a terrain park includes the overall process and time it will take. This is also very important when it comes to guest safety. The process includes work setting, testing, and maintaining feature setups. All features must go through this process by the terrain park crew. Safety is incredibly important when it comes to terrain park management. Though people are going to do what they want in the terrain park, it is part of being a manager to make the runs as safe as possible and encourage safety on the guests. This is where SMART comes in. Start small, make a plan, always look up, respect, and take it easy. Park managers created this acronym to encourage guests to ski and snowboard safely when in the terrain park. These 5 pointers of the terrain park will significantly help any guests and make their experience better. There are also many challenges when running, operating, and managing a terrain park. The first one is injuries. Freestyle areas aside, injury always follows skiing and snowboarding. However, freestyle injuries deserve special consideration due to their frequency and seriousness. Injuries from terrain parks have increased as this outcome of the sport has become more popular. Park managers need to take this under serious consideration when designing the terrain park. This goes back to design standards and regulations when building features. Negligence, as we know, is the failure to exercise the degree of care demanded by the circumstances. Ski resorts are often sued for negligence. This is because many skiers and snowboarders who fall blame it on the resort because of a crowded run, not clear signage, or a badly set up feature. For terrain parks specifically, this is where managers have to take precaution. The next and last greatest challenge of terrain park management is the conflict between beginner and advanced level skiers and snowboarders. There have been many incidents where beginner skiers and snowboarders have wound up in the terrain park, or when terrain park skiers and snowboarders have taken laps on other parts of the mountain. Keystone Resort is a very good example of this. They have currently and most recently designated two sides of the mountain, one for terrain parks and one for everyone else. This is because there's a lot of conflict between many skiers and snowboarders about where they were riding. Terrain park managers don't have control over who goes in the park, but they can encourage levels of non-terrain park to stay out to prevent further injuries, confusion, and conflict. There are many implications regarding terrain park management. The first one is terrain park management is more than being creative and loving the sport. As a manager of the terrain park, you need to take responsibility in who goes in and what they come out of. There are also many factors and aspects of terrain parks, this including all the standards and regulations of setting up jumps, boxes, and rails. Safety is key. As we discussed earlier, there are many things that can happen in a terrain park regarding safety, and it is important and a crucial role in the terrain park manager to make sure features are as safe as they can be. Some recommendations for terrain park management is to increase the awareness of location and level of features. Final recommendation is to allow for a designated advanced skier and snowboarder terrain park area. So overall, terrain parks are meant for fun, progression, and a unique way of skiing and snowboarding. Management does everything in their ability to make terrain parks a safe environment. And as for our guests, you should be safe, follow the rules, and have fun.